Hello and welcome to this Box 42 Studios tutorial on how to make maps for Total Annihilation. Just a quick breakdown, I'm going to be going through what software there is and where to get it, and then how to use it, and then the process of uploading your map once you've finished it so that you can play it with your friends or anyone else online. In this case it will be uploading it to Total Annihilation Forever or TAF. And just a side note that I will be also making another tutorial, or at least plan to be, on making custom features like the one you see in front of you here, which I recently made for a 2v2 tournament that I hosted with a good friend of mine who's part of the community, Meal Solutions. And the process of exporting and uploading them alongside the map so they don't have to be released individually, because if you upload them alongside the map it makes it a lot easier. But anyway, back to the tutorial. So in terms of the software to make maps, I like to use two. I think there's probably others, but the two I like to use is Mappy and Annihilator. And Mappy is the one I use mainly, but Annihilator has, I think it's two features that I like. It has the ability to void terrain, which basically just means that you make it unpathable or not pathable for units, just ground units that is. And then also it has the ability to randomly distribute trees or features across the map, which is kind of useful. Now, in terms of where to get the software, so for Mappy, what you need to do is you head to the Total Annihilation Universe Discord. I'll put a link in the description to anything I mentioned that requires a link. Head to the TA Universe Discord, head to map making, and then click on the pinned messages, and then you should see in here somewhere, if there's no major pins or other pins, will be at the top, a post from Venom, and it's Mappy Setup version 1.5. And just download that, and there's an installer in there, and it will just auto install it to program files for you once you click on it. As for Annihilator, basically there are a few places you can get them, but I like to go to tauniverse.com. You can either Google that or just copy the HTML, or I'll probably also put a link. And head to File Universe, Files, TA, Utilities, and then at the top here you'll see Annihilator, and it should be Annihilator 16 update.zip. And that should, I think you can actually just extract it and run it from the folder, if I recall. But basically, yeah, that's the version I use. Now, in terms of actually using them, well, there's a few things, first of all, you're going to want to do first, and this goes for both pieces of software. When you load them up, they will not have all these sections or tile sets or features. For both of them, they won't have any of this stuff. So what you will have to do is, first of all, in the case of Mappy, you'll have to go to Preferences, Add, and Locate. There's a few things you want to locate. So for Total Annihilation, the features come in Totaler 1, CC data, and then you can also download some extra ones, which I'll go through in a moment. But for me, I have most of them. If you just find the location of your Total Annihilation install and just link to that. I've also downloaded some other tile sets, which I'll go through in a moment, as I said. As for Annihilator, what you want to do is go to Annihilator Options. I click Retain Features once loaded, and obviously leave Auto Load sections on startup, because that means that they install every time you load it. And basically, I've just put the same ones to where I've got my, I've got the Total Annihilation install, and then I've also got some other ones where I've got some extra tile sets. Now, as for additional tile sets, I believe you can go for, let's go back here. So if you head back to Total Annihilation Universe, and then to File, Universe, and Files, and then head to the Utilities, sorry, not utilities, Resources, there's a tile sets section here, and you can just download custom tile sets here. I think, have I got some from other? I might have got some from other. There's basically just take a look. You can download as many as you want, and then you can just use your own. One thing I should just note, actually, is you may do this Preferences and link to the features and tile sets. You'll have to close both. This goes for both Annihilator and Mappy. You have to close them and then reopen them, and then they will appear. Okay, so once you've done that, and you've got the basic setup done, we can now go about making our own map from scratch. Okay, so now we've set up Mappy and Annihilator. We're going to go about making our map. I like to make my map in Mappy. I recommend it. It's much better than Annihilator, other than the two things I mentioned earlier on in the video. There may be another thing I use Mappy for that I can't remember. I mean Annihilator, but regardless, Mappy is the best for making maps in my opinion. So let's go File, New, and you get two options here. You can choose the size. So you can see it's 16 by 16 it equals 1 by 1. It's not that important, but it just means there'll be 16. This will be tiny. You can see it's 16 squares. However, you will notice that one of the 16 is actually, in terms of the width, outside the playable space. This is the playable space here, inside this pink area. And that for height, 4 is. So what I recommend doing, we're actually going to choose a bit bigger map as well. We're going to do 161. We're leaving 1 extra. Obviously, if it was 160, it'd be 10. So we're leaving 1 extra for the width, and we're going to do 164, so we leave 4 extra for the height. And I recommend turning on grid, so you can go to view, grid, and then 512 by 512 is very useful. It just helps you, line things up. And let's just do, I don't know, what flat. So you can see here that you have the different sizes. And basically, yeah, you can just drag them in. They're actually all repeatable. So I could move this over here and it should look identical. For them, at least these ones here. You'll have to check this yourself. Anyway, so I'm just going to go through the basic function of it. So what you can do is, obviously you can just drag. You could just keep dragging in like this. What you can also do though is you can actually select an area and hit Control C, and then I can now copy it and move it around. So I can just keep doing this, and I'll get the whole. And you do want to make sure you have stuff on the outside of the map also. Anyway, I'm just going to go highlighting it and scroll it all. I'm just going to move over. It's going to be quite a simple map. Sorry, Nick, I'm actually not available for a game at the moment. I wish I was. Anyway, yeah, so now we've got a green map. And one thing you might want to do is if you can press Control, I think it's M, and it'll bring up the minimap. Now, it will look blank like this at first. I think you can also go up here and click minimap, but yeah. So Control M or to view. Anyway, it will look blank, but if you do, I think it's Control G, it will render a simple image of it, but I think you can also do, if you go edit, you can also do generate high quality version, and it'll take a bit of time to process. And this is the one you're going to want to eventually use when you export your minimap. Anyway, I mean, this is a very simple map. Shall we try and get a mountain in here or something like that? Here we go. We got some mountains. So let's have, so it's the map's 10 by 10. So we have, I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So this here should be the middle of the map. Right, I'm just going to delete this here so I can, no, and we can check that by doing it. There you go, Control G, it's in the middle. I'm going to bring in this crater, and I am going to plonk it bang in the middle of the map. As I say, it's just a very simple map. I'm not going to do anything too exciting. What else do we want to do? I don't want to take too long, obviously, because this is meant to be a tutorial, so you want it to be fairly quick. We'll just get some pools of something like that. So I'm going to put... actually, you know what we'll do? We'll do 1 up here, so that'll be 2 in. No. Also, you can actually do Control Z. So there, I accidentally let go of it. But if I press Control Z, I can then pick it up. If it doesn't let you do it, click on the map somewhere, and then it'll do it. Okay, and then I'll put this here. I'm a big fan of symmetry, as most people in the community know already. I make the Sim map pack along with Meal Solutions. Okay, I think this looks fairly nice. Maybe we just have a bit more here. We'll do that. I'm sure if I don't make this symmetrical, I would get roasted, I feel like. But we'll go for something like that. Okay, so now we've got, I have also just managed to not make it symmetrical, so I'm gonna undo that because I put it in the wrong one. There we go. As I said, I would get roasted. By myself more than anyone. Have I made that symmetrical? Have I put this down too low? Yes, I have. There we go. Okay. I think that's symmetrical enough. I'm not going to add anything else. Hopefully that's fine. Maybe this needs to be done. Enough. It's a tutorial. Who cares? Move on. Right. Okay. So there we go. We've got some sections down. You'll want other things such as features and start position. So let's go through those. Okay, so let's just add some. I'm going to move out of the way. Let's add some features. I will go later on the random fill features for Annihilator, but for now we're going to do it by hand through here. So I'm just going to go green world because I want to keep things consistent, and I guess I'm just going to add a starting boulder in each of the spawns. I don't know. Actually, no. I want them to be by the pool. Let's move them to by the pool. I will just do that. There we go. And actually say one thing you could do with Mappy, as long as you've got the most recent version, you can highlight most of them or not most of them. You can highlight multiple features and move them around. You can also Control C to copy and Control V to paste. So and Control X to what's the term? I can't remember. you can cut, copy and paste basically. Anyway, I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna do that, and I'm just gonna move that there, and then I'll just, I'll just copy this as well. As I said, I'm trying to keep it simple. I don't want to do too much detail because we haven't got all day. So I think for now that's enough for features. Maybe I'll get briefly do some trees as well. We'll do like, I'm just going to do a simple, okay. Right, that's good enough for now. Now let's do some start position. So I'm going to have it be that player 1 starts here. The player starts at the base of this point, by the way, so just be aware of that. I'm going to have player 2 starting, where is it? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3. So let's do this. I'm just going to make this a 4-player map. We'll have it, I guess, top versus bottom. 1, 2, 3. I'm just getting it roughly lined up by eye. And we have 1, 2, 3. I think that will be good enough. Okay. And now I'm going to go, and obviously we actually need some more metal other than just these rocks. What is this? 150 at each spawn. So let's go to features. I think it is, yep. For some reason, green world metal patches are under rocks. I think if you go to anything else, it'll be metal. But just be aware of that. Green world is under rocks. Slightly confusing. Anyway. I'm going to chuck one of these here, and another one here, and then another one here. And I'll just copy those. I have to mirror them, obviously. Anyway, you can add the other start positions, and obviously try and imagine, in this case I'm doing a north versus south, so I'll want to put like, maybe I'd put like, I might as well do it now. I'd put like 5 here, so that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's here. Okay, so 6 would be down here. Yeah, I like mirror matchups, so it just makes sense from that point of view. And then we have 1 here. I'm going to put, you know what? I'll put them here. Let's put player 7. So obviously it's odds versus evens in this case. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 in. And you know, I might just do this over here. Let's get 9 over here. So 1, 2, 3 in. Is that correct? That does not seem right. Let's do that there. 1, 2, 3, 4 in. Okay. Okay. So down here we have 1. So this will be 8 down here. Ball. Okay. And we have the final position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, imagine you're happy with the map. I've got all my positions laid out. I've got my features down. I've done all my tile sets as far as I'm aware. I'm happy with the way it looks. Now what we want to do is generate minimap high quality. Okay, there we go. So this is what the minimap in game will look like. Quite simplistic, but it will do. Let's save our map for now. I'm gonna save mine as, let's save it as, I don't know why it's saving here. Let's save it in my folder. I put all my folders in TAF because that's the main version, not TAF, Proto, my Proto folder, because that's the version I like to play. I'm gonna call this, I don't know, Central Peak. I don't know. We'll go Central Peak, just because it's a mountain. And I'll save it as a .ufo, I guess. You can save it as .hpi if you want as well. It doesn't really make a difference. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is symmetrical as far as I'm aware. As I said, if it isn't, I'll probably get roasted. Okay, so let's go and do one other thing. We need to go to map attributes. I'm going to name it sim again. And I think I put the name in here. Let me just actually, let me just double check. I'll open up another Mappy and see what I've done. I like to try and keep my naming standards consistent. Let's do sim blue corners. There we go. So map attributes. Okay. Yep, so it's just the name. And then we have this by this. Da, da, da. Right, I'll just do 32 MB. I can't really remember what this is. This memory thing really doesn't make a difference. This will be like green world, I think. Players, this can be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, I guess. Default AI is fine. As I said, this is Sim Central Peak. And what I do here is the map is actually 10 by 10, so let me do that. So I do 10 by 10 and a full stop. And the wind I'm going to go into now is, I suppose there could actually be tidal. So yeah, I'll leave that there. So you can have wind values for obviously the wind farms, and then tidal for the tidal generators. Let me think of something. Oh no, peak times. There we go. Now, that seems fine to me. I've got everything I do there. There's no tiles by me. You should always refer to, or try to refer to, anyone's assets you've used before. Okay, so that's fine. I've got the I now need to set the values. So here we can choose we can set the sea level. You can also actually do that. Let me just quickly. You can also set the sea level here in attributes. But we're going to do that here. We don't want any sea, so we're going to keep that as 0. Hello, it's Tristan from the future. I realized that I actually do need to include sea level. So what you can do in order to see the sea level is you can use height map contours. Height map grid is just it's purely height topology, but I find that you can't see basically the sea level with height map grid. So just use contours. And I think this is going to be around 73 I need it to be. Sometimes if it's a bit finicky, you can just type it in manually rather than using the slider. But that should be okay. We leave the moho and surface and gravity all the same typically. I think you might be able to, I mean, gravity might be something that you can play around with. I have not actually done that. I leave that as default. Um, I will actually quickly just check the values. So this is 12 to 3500, so 21. So 3500 divided by 21. Okay, yeah, so one wind is 166 times, what is that? Yeah, who knows, whatever. It's time. It's 166.7 for one unit of wind. So if I go back to my other map, I'm going to keep tidal at 20, just because I think that's a nice number. Actually, you know what? We'll do 25 because we'll make it interesting. Oh, maybe 20. We'll do 23. Let's do 23. And now I will set the wind. I think I'm going to go for something like 18 to 22. We'll do 18 to 22. So what would that be? Let's do times 18. 3,000. So that'd be my low value, 3,000. And then I'll just divide this by 18 again to go back to was, and then I'll times it by 22. And this says it needs to be 3,666.6. I think I tend to actually round up, so I'll do like 3,670 or something like that. I like to keep it in, tens, I guess. Okay, so now that's that done. We're happy with everything. I can save this. I believe if I go to my game, Juju Galaxy, TAF Prota, Total, I should be able to find the, yep, here we go, Central Peak. So I can actually now go in and play my map, and it should work perfectly fine. We have some metal here. It recognizes it's metal. So yeah, that's the process of making a map. So I'm just going to quit this quickly. Okay, so now for some more advanced features. If you actually open up a new Mappy, so you have two open at the same time, one thing you can actually do is, let me just go to, I don't know, we'll go to corners. So what you can do is, as long as you're on the features section, again, you can copy them from one map, and I'll go to features on the other, and paste. And now, yeah, so it's a great skill. You can just transfer them between the two. Now, as for Annihilator, I remember there's actually a third thing I like about Annihilator. So there's voiding, and then there's the random distribution of features, but there's also height adjustments can also be useful here. So I'm just going to go for height adjustments first before I forget. So let's go to height editing. We'll choose the cursor size there. As you know, I'll increase that to 4 so you can have a clearer view of it. And let's just do let's get height viewable here. So if I go view height field, you can see that you can just manually increase height. Now this is mainly useful for when you're making custom terrain, or you want to edit. So sometimes tiles that you are of existing tilesets have poor topology, so this is one way that you can edit them. You can also edit them by extracting them. But I'll go into this actually in another tutorial. I just wanted to briefly mention it. The main two things I wanted to talk about was the void height. So if I click void height here, basically what this is doing is creating an area where units can't go. So you can see I've already created it here. It's the red area. Again, just to show this, you click on the view height field here. So that's one useful thing. Now if I go back to the grid, I'm going to turn that off. And if I go to, we'll click the selection box, and I'm just gonna put it here for the sake of it because it's clear and white. We can go, let's go to the features as well, and we'll go for green just because I'm going to select some rocks. I think you can only do one at a time, but I may be wrong. And what you can do is you select your feature. You go to features, then you can do feature density, and this just basically is about the distribution. I'm going to do 10 and 100% in this example. So I set it to 10, and then I go fill section, and it will fill the section of, well, where my box is. And then I'll just give you an example of 100% fill sections. There you go. So it's a pretty useful tool. This is more advanced stuff when we get into this, but it is useful and can save you time. And just some other tips for the features section. In order to be able to select features, you need to be in the features tab. That's something I should have mentioned earlier on. But also, if you want to post or paste multiple features of the same type, you can actually just right-click into different positions, and that makes life a lot easier. Now, in terms of making, you've made your map. You'll want to play test your map before uploading it. We'll head over to Total Annihilation Forever to upload our map. So I'll put a link to TAF Forever in the description so you can download it. I assume if you're wanting to make a map for Total Annihilation, you're probably already here playing games. The escalation folk are here, as well as, you know, Prota and other mods. So if you go to maps, upload, and then you can see I've uploaded many maps before. You just go to the map you want to upload, and in this case, you know, Sim Central Peak. There we go. So I'm not actually going to upload it. I would do this. You would then click, I confirm that this map is properly balanced and does not contain prohibited code, blah, blah, blah. And then if I uploaded it now, it would upload to their servers, and then I would be able to play it with other people. Now, if you want to update your map, what you have to do is you actually go to, I think if you go map, and then you can go here to owned maps. You can see I have made a lot of Metal Heck maps because I was doing my own symmetrical version. What you do is you just, if I click on, let me click on this one here. I've actually removed it from, so I've made it hidden. You'll have an option, so if I go here, you'll have an option to hide it. And then what you can do is upload a new one. I also recommend, I guess you could unrank the old ones as well. I have done. And basically, when people play, they'll download the new version, or at least they should do. But yeah. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say, apart from if you are using Annihilator, what you might come across is if you're using widescreen, that you can actually, you'll have this sort of glitch going on basically. And you can just fix that by just dragging out the side panel. And hopefully, I mean, obviously it's not ideal, you would potentially want more space, but I mean, this is still a pretty good, it's better than having the glitching going on, so now you can actually see your map correctly. I think that's essentially everything I wanted to cover in this tutorial. Hopefully you found it useful. But before I go, I'd like to say a big thank you to my Patreon supporters who helped make this possible. Thank you to Dreadnought and Meal Solutions. You can join the community yourself for as little as £1 a month, and it's just a nice way to say thank you to me. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section, or reach out to me through my socials, which you can find in the video description. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video tutorial.